Welcome back to Our Community. We're visiting with Fern Basinski from House of Hope, and we're going to get to that with Pregnancy Choices. She's author of Portraits and Refuge. And before the break, we were talking about disclosure. I received a phone call years, maybe 20, 25 years after high school, from a high school friend who felt compelled to let me know that she had, in fact, had an abortion back in the day. And I thought, first of all, you didn't need to tell me that. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't change how I feel about you as a friend. But I thought I needed to respect the fact that she felt deep inside the need to contact me and tell me that that had happened. What is important in disclosure? What should you ask yourself as far as figuring out who now needs to know?
Well, I think I tell the ladies in the group when they pose that question that it's something that they have to bathe in a lot of prayer, because everyone doesn't need to know, and everyone is not going to receive that information as graciously as you received it from your friend. And so she needs to bathe that in a lot of prayer. I had a man go through the group. We have groups for men as well. And his parents were very elderly, and he was just so free, but he believed with all his heart that his parents did not need to know at their age, in their stage in life, that his parents did not need to know. And the women, they have to decide who needs to know. Mm-hmm. I personally try to encourage them, if they're married, that they should share with their spouse. Mm-hmm. I think that's very important that they know that. As far as their children, adult children, I shared with my adult children while I was still going through the group. It was important to me. Mm-hmm. So whatever is important, but if they are going to be called publicly to speak about their abortion experience and the healing that they've had, they must disclose that information to their immediate family and their extended family members before they go public, because they wouldn't want someone else to ever tell them.
And that would be a terrible way for somebody to hear it for the first time.
Yes.
As you're saying.
Yes.
Have you ever seen or experienced someone who that really became an issue then in the marriage, though? Did they, or did most people, if they feel compelled to tell their spouse and so forth, that is received with grace?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Every story that I've heard has been really received very well from adult children, from a spouse, from parents. Yes.
Groups are beginning when?
Groups begin the week of April 3rd, and they will be on Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, and we have day groups and evening groups.
So it doesn't matter when your free time is. You, Fern, have an answer for that.
I do.
That's so good. What's the difference between now what takes place in Portraits and what takes place in Refuge?
I just want to make it clear that those groups are never together.
Okay.
We never mix post-abortive women with the other grief issues. Post-abortive women, it's just so sensitive and so confidential that we keep those totally separate. And the difference is that the other groups, the Refuge group, will cover any other kind of grief issue, whether it be, as I mentioned before, divorce, mm-hmm. loss of a loved one. I had a woman go through because she lost her pet several years before, and she could not get through it. Mm-hmm. The issue was getting to the root, really, of why she couldn't move past that, which she did, and she was really freed up. It was wonderful. The other difference, really, there's no difference. The groups meet the same. They're the same number of weeks. We do keep post-abortive women separate. Women who have suffered a miscarriage or pregnancy loss belong to the Refuge group.
The Refuge book, then let's talk about that. You're going to be having a book signing coming up?
Yes.
When and where?
April 15th at Lifeway.
Yes.
From 11 to 1 p.m.
Awesome. All right, let's say that again. Yes, you will be at Lifeway at 30th Street Plaza in Canton, Lifeway Christian Stores, and Fern will be there in the back, in the far back there, with books, and people get a chance to meet you, talk with you,
yes,
have a little autograph signing time.
Yes, and they can sign up for a group if they like.
Sign up for a group. Okay, and that is April 15th.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. Refuge, then the book, how is that book different than Portraits? Because it's dealing with different kinds of grief.
Yes.
What did you use as a resource? Again, it's a Bible study, correct?
Yes, it's a Bible study. It's really not a lot different, to be honest with you, other than it's dealing with any kind of grief. But grief issues, really, basically, you have to work through the anger. You have to work through unforgiveness. You have to work through shame if it's involved. You have to work through the tears and the crying and the screaming and the just digging into the scriptures and getting God's mind, on your grief and how He wants to comfort. And so they're really different. But a lot of the issues with grief from an abortion and other kinds of griefs can be similar and have similar things that we need to deal with.
But so you're saying grief is grief, and there are stages of grief, and we all go through them differently, but we all go through them.
Yes.
And the denial and the anger
Yes.
and so forth, and the coming to grips with it and so forth. But if you cannot move on, if you find yourself stuck in any one of those stages and not functioning and not able to move forward, that's a great time to seek out help, yes?
Absolutely.
All right, let's talk about House of Hope. Tell me about it.
House of Hope is it's a parsonage. The church in Canton had a parsonage that they were not using. And so our executive director, Jill Taylor, approached the pastor at the time and asked him if his church would be willing to let us use the first floor. Well, the building was not usable. It was water damaged. It was a wreck. They were thinking about tearing it down. Well, they presented it to the congregation and presented that they would need $60,000 to fix it up. And the first day that the pastor presented it, we got a check for $10,000.
Oh, my goodness.
After that, Susie, the money just poured in. So we knew God was in it. So we have the first floor of that parsonage all renovated, beautiful, and restored. And we love that word restored because that's what we do. We restore hope and we restore hearts. And we call it the House of Hope because women need hope. Everyone needs hope.
The physical structure of the House of Hope is almost an analogy of exactly what happens to women when they walk through that door.
Yes.
Why is it important to have those kinds of surroundings? Because, anybody that visits it, it is warm, it's inviting, it's comfortable. Why is that so important?
Well, women love that. We love to be, we have footstools and we have cozy blankets and covers, and it's just, we have a fireplace, and women just love that. We feel freer to talk and share our hearts in that type of an environment.
And you're seeing all kinds of amazing things, transformation take place in women, as amazing as the transformation of the building itself.
Yes. Yes.
Are you free to talk about anyone, let's not use their names, but anybody who's come to you and you really see an amazing turnaround with them?
Oh my!
You've seen
where would I begin? Every woman who walks through the door and goes through the Bible study leaves with an amazing story. But one that comes to my mind, a refuge client. She had suffered a concussion and in an accident, and she was stuttering because of that. She lost her job. She came to Refuge because of the grief of a 27-year career just gone because of an accident that she had. And she came through Refuge, and she is she is just amazing. She's a spokesperson now for Pregnancy Choices, and she does not stutter, and she is just serving us. She's going to be helping facilitate some groups in April, in the April group. She's just an amazing story.
I don't want to start a fire or anything, but if she lost a job because of stuttering, she's got one great lawsuit, I think. Did anybody think of talking about that?
But, well, I don't even. She's so happy. She's so happy with her healing and what she's doing, and she can see God's hand really removing her from that because He had something so much more wonderful.
And isn't that so many the times that we have some loss and we're grieving that loss, and we see that, that was a door that was allowed to close because look at this better door that just opened up. Yep, that happens so much. All right, well, let's talk about the groups that are starting up the week of April 3rd. You are doing a training with people on April 1st who will be facilitators. Tell us a little bit about what's required to do that and what will take place there.
Okay. Many women who go through the group and some who haven't been through the group want to facilitate those groups because it's just so wonderful to see what happens and to help women heal. So we have, first of all, they would have to go through the Pregnancy Choices volunteer training, which takes place 3 times a year. And then after that, they would, if they are post-abortive, they would have to go through the group. The Portraits group. After that, if they want to facilitate, then we have a special training. It's called Hope for Deeper Healing, and that's what's taking place on April 1st, and that is for women who are interested in facilitating any of our groups.
Any of the groups?
Yes.
Okay, whether it's the one starting in April 3rd, or when will the next round begin? Some people might be saying, I can't do it in the spring, but when is it happening next?
The next will be September, and after that will be January.
So you do them 3 times a year. And how
Yes.
long do they last?
9 weeks.
Just 9 weeks.
9 weeks.
That seems to pack an awful lot into 9 weeks. And you see a difference in
my.
a little over 2 months.
Oh, yes.
That's amazing. Can you take, we've got like a minute and a half left. Can you take us through a little bit about, let's pick a chapter or two from, let's say, Refuge, because that's the new one, and that's the one where people can meet you and purchase it on April 15th at Lifeway Christian Store. Let's talk about the contents and what people will find in that.
Okay. Well, the first thing they're going to find is a lot of scripture, because I believe that healing truly comes through the Word of God and through prayer and self-examination. They're going to go back and look at their grief. They're going to discover where they are in the grief cycle, and if they're stuck, how they got stuck, and how they can get past that, how they can grieve that loss now in a healthy way, with a room full of women who are empathetic, who love on them. Then they're going to maybe find out what it is that has stumped them, where they've gotten stuck. And I love chapter 5 because it's called Idols of the Heart. Mm-hmm. And many times, even our grief can become an idol to us after a while. People, places, and things. And these are the things that really get us tripped up and get us stuck in our grief. And I just love that chapter because almost every woman says that was the chapter that was the change for them, that turned everything around for them.
Wow.
Eye-opening.
To stop being happy, being sad.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, this sounds like something that we need to pursue. Tell us how we can sign up. Again, it's the week of April 3rd, and where can people find more information?
They can call me personally because I like phone calls to come through me because of the confidentiality. Mm-hmm. And my number is 330-479-1583.
Let's give that one more time.
330-479-1583.
Fern Basinski, thank you so much for all you're doing in our community.
Thank you, Susie.